On tonight's episode of General Stacks, Meg and Christine are reporters at the General Stacks Daily News. Allie, their editor, who has recently instated the editor dresses down at workday, is encouraging Meg to cover a domestic violence and arson case, but Meg finds ethical conflict with the story. This is what happens when people stop being polite and start getting ethical.
How is your story coming along?
Well, I'm not sure how to take it. It's about a domestic violence case that involves arson. This guy knocked out his girlfriend and proceeded to set the house on fire. And in addition, there's some pretty horrible details of domestic violence in their relationship involving rape and previous abuse. Now, we usually report the name of the aggressor, but the editor wants me to make this into a bigger story, and I don't know if I should report the name of the victim since it was an attempted homicide.
Well, it is different. It obviously isn't just a domestic violence story. What is their policy about naming victims?
Well, we don't name victims in domestic violence cases unless we are given permission by the victim, but the new editor is really pushing this story.
Since it involves domestic violence, I think that maybe you should follow our policy unless you hear otherwise. Talk to the editor about it.
Good idea.
Hey Meg, how's that domestic violence arson case going?
Well, I'm really having trouble with this one, Allie. Say this was a case of domestic violence without the arson, we probably wouldn't be making this a feature story, and then we definitely wouldn't reveal the identity of the victim.
You're right, but I do think there are some exceptions. We report the details of a domestic violence case if there are any serious injuries or a potential hostage situation, or if there's an unusual amount of police response, so I think these details are what really makes the story newsworthy.
But our policy states that without the permission of the victim, we can't reveal their identity.
Yeah, you're right, but that is our policy, but I just think that the story is pretty important, and I think that we need to report it, so we should probably try giving the victim a call.
I'll see if I can get some contact information.
Alright, well let me know what you come up with.
Okay, well thank you for all of your help. Hey Allie, so I just got a hold of the media liaison from the local domestic violence support center. She had spoken to the victim, and the victim told her that she was adamant that she didn't want her identity revealed.
Is there any way that you can give details about the victim without revealing her identity? The readers will need to make a connection with the victim, and you can't really write her out of the story.
Yeah, but it's just that this is a really small town, and I don't want to include anything that could be considered identifying information. I really feel that this is a private matter, so why are we insisting on making it a big story?
Meg, this isn't just a private matter. You know just as well as I do that domestic violence is a huge issue in our society, and a lot of times it's treated as though it's not even a real crime. I think that this is just truly an injustice, and some papers won't even reveal the name of the aggressor. It's as though they aren't even committing criminal acts. What would it say about our paper if we didn't publish this story? Don't we have a responsibility to inform the public, Meg?
I agree. That's why this is such an important story. We need to shed all the light we can on the issue of domestic violence. It would be almost unethical of you not to.
Well, I see where both of you are coming from, and I'm going to start working on it right now. I think I'll focus on the individual story but not identify the victim, but I think it's important that we put it into a context of domestic violence and show that the problem of domestic violence goes beyond this one victim.
Featuring Meg Malone. Directed by Emma Tanner. Also starring Christine Pearl.
With a special appearance by Allie, the Improv Master Dixon.
Hey Meg, how's the domestic violence arsony story going?
You said arsony.